Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the BFG Podcast. Today we are back with Sky Television's Justin Nelson to discuss some of the things that you can expect on Sky Sports within the next quarter of the year. Welcome back to the show.
Hey,
Justin, it's a pleasure to see you as always.
absolutely. G'day, Blake. Great to be with you again, and I hope you're well.
I am well. So since we spoke last, we've had the Winter Olympics, and now we're moving on to some more great content, such as the Premier League is returning to the Sky for the first time in, I believe, it's 4 years, maybe 5 years, and you've secured it for the next 6 years. So how delighted are you about that?
Yeah, well, being a fan of the EPL personally, I'm really happy, and I'm sure that there's lots of very happy people right across Aotearoa. It's just such an incredible competition, the English Premier League, and it's one of those competitions where if you're a fan, there's certainly some tribalism about it. You love your team and you love your colours, and great highlights. Many will tell you it's the best competition in the world. So really looking forward to it, and being a hot Spurs fan myself, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Now, sadly, as I believe, you have to go to another platform for the World Cup, but this weekend you do have the Pacific Test for the Rugby League. So that should be something for all Rugby League fans to look forward to.
Yeah, there's lots of great content at the moment. The rugby league you just mentioned there, and obviously we've got the Kiwis and Tonga coming up. We've got the Warriors returning after more than 1,000 days away. Quite incredible, and that's a sold out game coming up as well. The first of four games back on home soil. So. And of course, the NRL season continues to tick along and provide lots of great highlights and great content each week. So that will be heading towards finals in the not too distant future. It comes around very, very quickly, doesn't it? All of a sudden, you start talking finals football. But if you're a league fan, there's a lot of action going on right now.
Yes, and unfortunately, the Warriors had a roller coaster of a year, but we hope they can finish on a high now that they're coming back to New Zealand a bit more regularly.
Yeah, it's been tough. I don't think there's any team in the world in any sport, in any competition globally that's had to endure time away from home and the journey that the Warriors have been on. And right now, no doubt, they're just all looking forward to jumping on that plane and coming home. It's been a long time. There's players in that team that have never lived in New Zealand. I mean, that's just remarkable. But all of that is about to change, and no doubt the Warriors fans and fans of football up and down the country are looking forward to seeing them come home.
We've got the All Blacks facing Ireland and England. England facing Australia, South Africa facing Wales, and I believe Scotland and Argentina, but I can't quite remember. I think that's what it is. Anyway, lots of international rugby.
Yeah, there is. It's coming up to that time of the year, and you've only got to look at ticket sales and just the excitement that's building around taking on the Irish. I know back in my hometown in Wellington, there's a real level of excitement about the game that's coming to Sky Stadium, and if you're a proud All Blacks fan, you're about to get kitted out. You're about to head off and see some great games, and no doubt, the Irish are here to do a job. They mean business, and I think that's going to make for a lively series.
Now, you're on the road a lot at the moment, even now by the look of your background, doing the basketball, the National Basketball League. How's that been going this season, and are you looking forward to the women's one starting soon?
Yeah, absolutely. We're about halfway through the men's season right now. It's a grind. It always is. You get to this time of the year and the days start to blur, and the hotel rooms. You're right. They do sit in the background with a lot of these interviews and calls, and it's been a lot of fun. I mean, it's as competitive as it's ever been, probably ever, across 41 years. If you listen to the fans at the games and out in the streets and watching on Sky Sport. There's a lot of love for the Cells NBL right now, and just the competitive balance. And the fact that as a fan, you can go to games or you can tune in, and you've got a genuine belief, that your team can get up and have a win. We saw just a couple of weeks ago, the 10th place Manawatu Jets score a 1-point win over the top team, the Auckland Tuatara, and that's the nature of the competition right now. It's going to be a battle for the final six, and every team is still in contention, and that's not something that we've talked about in the past. So there's a lot of excitement, and as you mentioned, Ihi Basketball Aotearoa is coming up. That tips off on June 29. Really looking forward to that one again. Every game live on Sky Sport, and women's basketball professionally, it's a whole new world. For the players in this country. This competition has pay parity for the players with those in the men's competition as well. There's some great international talent that's come in. There's a lot of Kiwis that have returned home to play for the first time in a long time. And I think for the future, the girls and the women out there who play basketball, that pathway now is really bright. And that's an exciting thing for women's basketball. New Zealand's very, very good on the global stage. I've said it many times. The tragedy is that they just haven't been able to come home and play. There's a lot of very good players around the world. There's a lot of players playing, top level netball that actually come from a basketball background, but they just haven't had the chance to play in a homegrown league of substance. And of quality, and that's now all about to change with To'ihi. So looking forward to that one, and from the position of the commentary chair with everyone else in the commentary team, we've got an enormous workload coming up over the next 6 to 8 weeks.
Where are you off to today as we record this, tape this interview?
Yeah, in Auckland at the moment, and then head out tomorrow back to Wellington. Have a game there on Sunday, the Saints and the Bulls, which will be a really big game in this round, an important game, especially for the Saints, who parted ways with their coach during the week. And then I've got about a 24-hour turnaround, and then back to Auckland for games on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's every day with the women's competition starting next Wednesday. It's pretty endless right now, Blake.
Do you prefer your commentary job as to your business job with Guy DD?
Oh, look, it's a good question. No one's actually asked me that. There's a lot of people who do come up to me at games and have a chat to me about commentary, and do say, oh, we enjoy the commentary. For someone who's just started doing it, you've taken to it pretty quickly, because they've seen me as coming out of that GM of the NBL business, and then all of a sudden commentating games. And the fact is, my background is sports commentary. I was doing it for more than 25 years back in Australia, so it's not new. I've been doing it since the age of 20, and I enjoy it. It's an outlet for me. You can put those headsets on, and for me, I feel like I'm switching off from the rest of the world for a couple of hours. I'm there to do a job, but I can become a fan and a lover of the game, or whatever it is I'm calling. I'm not just a basketball broadcaster. I've done many sports back in Australia. I don't know if or where or how that will, lead me or take me into other sports here in New Zealand. But right now, I'm enjoying the basketball, and it's a great outlet for me. Do I prefer it? I love both of the jobs that I do. The 9 to 5 nature of what we're doing at Sky Sport right now is really exciting for all sports and for all fans. In particular for the fans, for the viewers. I'm really they're close to my heart. I think anyone who knows me knows that I'm a fans first person. I think sport is about the people. It's for the fans. It's for the viewers, and I really enjoy that part of my job as well. So yeah, there's not one preference over the other. They both have meaningful, enjoyable parts in what I do. But certainly when I put the headsets on, it allows me to escape that other part of the world from a business sense as well. So it's nice.
If you had the opportunity, would you like to give league or rugby or football a crack?
I'd give anything a go. I don't know that I'd do it justice because, I've grown up in an AFL world. As you know, born and bred and all my life in Melbourne. So, I think over my broadcasting career back in Australia, I've done hundreds of Australian rules games. I'd hate to think how many. But I also spent 8 years doing the National Soccer League, which is now the A League, the APL. So I do have a fair background in the round ball code. I'd lend myself to anything, but there's some wonderful league and union commentators here in New Zealand, very, very experienced, and I love listening to them. They're great at what they do, and for now, I'm more than happy to be a listener and a viewer and enjoy their commentary. I think they do a great job. So it's certainly not up the top of the list, put it that way.
I find it quite funny because you and I have talked about this on and off air quite a lot. That people don't know that you've done commentary for a long time, as you said, it's quite funny.
Yeah, it is. It's there's probably not a game that goes by in the Cells NBL where somebody doesn't bump into me and think that I've taken it up very, very quickly and duck to water. And yeah, it's kind of funny when I explain to them that I've actually been doing it for a long time. Trust me. It seems so many years ago now that I started doing that, and I came to New Zealand for a different role, a different job. And really, sunk my teeth into that and enjoyed every second of it, building the NBL up into what it is today with a great team around me. But it's been fun getting back to the commentary for sure. Yeah, it's definitely a first love for me, given my background.
Does anyone ever feel embarrassed when you tell them that you actually were doing it for however long?
Oh no, I think they just laugh along with me. It's great that people are listening, and there's not too many Australian voices in commentary here in New Zealand. I might be the only one, so hopefully people are accepting of it. I can't change the accent; it's who I am, and hopefully people do accept that having an Aussie voice around sport is a little bit unique and a little bit fun, and they're enjoying it.
And help me if I've missed anything, by the way, but the last thing I've got on my list for this quarter anyway is the Commonwealth Games, led by Andrew Mulligan and a few other of our well-known Sky Sport personalities.
Yeah, I've been around the studios, and Moles is warming the tonsils up, getting ready for the Commonwealth Games. He's a wonderful sports broadcaster and presenter, and there's many others. All the men and women at Sky who stand in front of the camera and do such a wonderful job. They're great to watch, and even given my background, I feel like I'm continuing to learn as I watch them go about their craft. They do a great job, and Sky's got a good team in place for the Commonwealth Games. Behind the microphones and behind the cameras, or in front of the cameras as well. It's a real team effort, and we're looking forward to it. I think New Zealand will do really well in the Commonwealth Games and bring home a lot of medals. And what goes around that is an incredible coverage. It's a huge amount of work, dedication by so many people. Lots of hours get poured into it, and at the end of the day, there's just this real sense of pride, amongst everyone at Sky when you're able to deliver such an incredibly big and impactful sporting event as the Commonwealth Games. So yeah, looking forward to it. It's going to be great TV. It always is. If you're a lover of sport, there's the Commonwealth Games and the Olympic Games is always a wonderful opportunity to see and feel and hear and get to know other sports. You might be a union fan or a league or a basketball fan, but you get the chance to watch and learn about other sports and see other sporting stars and hear about their backgrounds and how they got to where they are now at the peak of their powers. And I love that about the Commonwealth Games and the Olympic Games. You just always feel like out of that, that 2 week coverage, you come out of it a bit more rounded with your knowledge in sport and certainly the athletes, all the fantastic women and men who will be representing the country.
Yeah. So are you early mornings and late nights for Kiwi fans?
Well, it's going to be some late nights. There's going to be
Yeah.
some early mornings. It's the nature of global sport. But I've got no doubt, Blake, that people will be sitting up and watching, or getting up and watching, and we might go through a period of a couple of weeks where there's some tired eyes, around the water cooler at work, and for the kids going to school and that sort of stuff. But it's definitely a part of our culture in this part of the world and in Australia as well. I remember growing up as a kid, I used to love turning the TV on and watching the stars of just a number of different sports going out there and doing the business. And it really didn't bother me what time of the day or night it was. And it's going to continue. People will be up, they'll be watching in massive numbers on Sky Sport, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Now, before I go, have I missed anything?
I don't think so. It's a pretty jam-packed calendar coming up. It always is. There's a lot of excitement coming up in that second quarter as well. We'll chat about that next time. But right now, lots of sport on TV. Kiwis, not only here in New Zealand with our domestic competitions, we've just seen another wonderful ANZ Premiership season finish and Super Rugby, of course. And we're right, deep into the NBL season at the moment. And as you mentioned, the Com Game's not too far away, and All Blacks will be in action. Silver Ferns will be in action soon. And if you love your sport, there's always one place to go to get it all. Obviously, it's Sky Sport, and I'm really looking forward to seeing a lot of the action coming up over the next quarter. It's going to be fun. Keep saying that, don't I? I keep saying it. It's going to be fun, but it is.
Well, thanks for joining us as always, and we'll talk to you next quarter.
I'll see you from another hotel room, Blake.